All right, welcome back. Time for some last chance Q with Coach Jason Brown. JB, I'm going to throw a curveball. We're not going to start with quarterbacks. Steve Kim told me you said something very blasphemous about Ray Lewis. And so I need some clarity on where you stand on Ray Lewis before I know if we can even continue this interview. I may have to drop you again.
I told him.
Where's Ray Lewis on your top linebacker list in NFL history, JB?
Top 5.
We have a bad connection. We have a bad connection. You said top 1 or 2. Is that what you said?
Top 5. What's wrong with top 5? You think he's number 1?
It's disrespectful.
You think he's number 1?
Well, inside linebackers, JB?
So he's better than Mike Singletary?
Yes.
He's better than Butkus?
That's who I would question. You know, I can go either way on that.
He's better than Nishke?
Yeah. Yes.
So you're telling me a guy that played in a spread system era versus a team that lined up with multiple fullbacks and had to take on the fullback day in and day out is not better than Ray Lewis, who had to defend the pass in a much softer era. You're telling me that those guys aren't better. Remember, we're talking Mike linebacker here, Jason. You played the game. We're not talking safety. Are we talking about middle linebacker?
Do you think Ray Lewis would have any problem with any fullback in the history of professional football? I watched the man take on guards and tackles, and you think he couldn't handle taking on fullbacks, and he did take on fullbacks in his era. Cut it out, JB.
I'm not saying he didn't take him on. I'm telling you he didn't take him on in the same respect that the old school cats did. It was a completely different game. Ray Lewis got to drop into coverage much more often than those other linebackers had to do. Those guys had to fill gap, A gap, B gap right now. Ray Lewis got to read coverage, read pattern read, hold drop, cover 2. He had a much more, shall I say, softer era. And I'm just going to tell you like that. I love Ray Lewis. I've sat down with Ray Lewis many times. I've had a lot of discussions. Ray Lewis will tell you that the era has changed by the time he got into it. So I'm just telling you, it is a completely different game. Mike Singletary is the best linebacker in the history of football, in my opinion. Ray Lewis, I would probably have in the top 3 or 4, but he's definitely top 5. A little stiff for me, a little stiff.
JB,
Hey,
I'm not disrespecting Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary is probably number 3 in my book. I'm not trying to disrespect Mike Singletary, but
number 3.
Yeah, Butkus, Ray Lewis, and Mike Singletary, or Ray Lewis, Butkus, Mike Singletary. Listen, man,
he's top 5 either way. He's top 5. There's no disrespect in putting a guy in top 5 in the history of his sport.
Yes, it is. Because I was told London Fletcher's name fell out of your mouth at some point, which really triggered me, that somehow you put them in the same sentence.
It did, not top 5. I was just messing with Steve about certain things. But what I did say was there's a lot of undervalued guys, underrated guys that were really, really good at the same time Ray was playing, but Ray got all the notoriety. And you remember a guy
Did you see Ray's Super Bowl against the New York Giants? It's one of the greatest defensive if not the greatest defensive performance in NFL playoff history, certainly in Super Bowl history. I was in the building and wasn't a full-blown Ray Lewis idiot at the time. Now I am. I'm a full-blown Ray Lewis idiot. At that time, I was just like, oh, Ray Lewis is nice. I watched that game and was like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen one man take down an entire offense and team. He did it. There was no Ed Reed at that time. It was just Ray, if my memory serves me right. when I say just Ray, I'm not saying Tony Siragusa and some of the other pieces were, but
I know
it's
you're
one
not.
of the greatest performances. Excuse me?
No, you're not.
It's one of the greatest performances in NFL history. On that platform to have that game to single-handedly shut down a offense, and then to have that season where they're carrying Trent Dilfer. They know they can't give up more than 12 or 13 points a game. They did have Rod Woodson, who's a great player right there with Deion Sanders. But what Ray did in that Super Bowl, man, come on, man.
You keep saying by himself. You're telling me they didn't have the best D-line in football? Are you crazy right now? Are you killing me right now with this by himself stuff, man? Holy crap. D-line was
Rewatch that Super Bowl.
Their D-line was unbelievable. Who frees up the linebacker, Jason? Do you think the linebacker just runs scot-free without being protected? Come on, man. By himself. Come on.
Did Mike Singletary win 2 Super Bowls?
With great D-line as well, but it wasn't as good as that Ravens D-line. I'll tell you that right now.
Steve McMichael, Dan Hampton, the fridge? What are you talking about?
Better than the Ravens D-line?
Yeah, I would imagine Hampton's in the Hall of Fame. Who on the Ravens D-line's in the Hall of Fame?
Are you putting Refrigerator Perry in there too? Come on.
No.
Come on, they were big wobble bodies, man. The guys couldn't even move.
Richard Dent's in the Hall of Fame. Cut it out, JB.
That was a pass rushing DN, man. Ray Lewis played in the middle with Singletary. They had to have pluggers. You had to have A-gap guys. You had to have big booty guys. Saragusa, Sam Adams, 2 of the biggest bodies of all time taking on double teams, freeing up Ray Lewis all day long. By the way, Ray Lewis also had a great linebacker core in Baltimore, by the way. Great.
Dan Hampton, 1980s All-Decade team, not in the Hall of Fame. Let me walk that back.
Yeah, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but Richard Dent is.
Richard Dent, yep. Oh, Richard Dent won 2 Super Bowls. He won some with another team.
He won one with
Richard Dent in the Hall of Fame. Cut it out, man. Cut it out. All right, I should have waited for last. If this was the last topic, I would have hung up on you. We'd have had a connection problem. But I want to go back to Jalen Hurts. Or I want to go to Jalen Hurts. What do you think of his deal? Are they going to regret paying Jalen Hurts $51 million a year?
Man, I don't know how to say this. This is just what it is. The market is just skyrocketed for all these guys. Let me ask you this before I answer that question. Do you think that the quarterback salary cap is going to be a separate salary cap in the next 5 years? The CBA, Sean Salisbury and I discussed it yesterday. I think the CBA, I don't think they'll have a problem with it. I think Steve Kim disagrees. Sean and I think that the CBA would like it because all the other players know they're never going to get the quarterback money. So why not have a separate salary cap? These guys can have bigger contracts if they weren't included with the quarterback. Do you ever see that the CBA allowing the NFL to separate and have 2 different salary caps? Because I'm telling you, Jason, this is becoming very, very hard to construct rosters with. And Steve thinks agents wouldn't allow it. Sean and I think agents would love it. It's more money. So if I'm a
player, if I'm a player, I don't want a quarterback salary cap. I want, or maybe I do.
You do.
I want
Jason.
some sort of sanity. Maybe I do. I want some sort of sanity. These guys are overpaid, man.
Oh,
and they're not taking the risk. They're not taking the risk that offensive, defensive linemen are, linebackers are, running backs are. They're so protected. We put skirts on them. You can't touch them. They don't have to play real football, but somehow they take less risk and get more money. I know their position drives ratings and all that other stuff, but if I'm a rank and file NFL player, I want, and if I'm a defensive lineman, offensive lineman, a linebacker, any of these contact positions, I'm like, man, 51 million a year. Cut it out. I'm out here taking the risk. I'm the one that's going to be in pain at age 50. While we've done. You got to ask a quarterback to go to the ground. You get back there and say, hey, could you fall down for me? I would want some kind of salary cap. I'd want it under control and get these guys, down around 30 million a year.
I mean, I don't even know about that. I just mean having a total separate cap with them. Like there's two separate caps on each team. You know what I mean? There's two caps now on each roster, and the quarterback's separate. I think it'll be. Here's the thing about it, Jason.
The number you put on that cap is what's going to get players involved. If it tops out at only 10% higher than the other highest paid player on the team at a different position, I might jump on board with that. But watching Jalen Hurts get 51 million and Jason Kelce get 15 or whatever they pay centers, I'd be like, man, I'm down here taking a beating that my grandkids are going to feel, and Jalen Hurts is getting escorted to the ground by security. I'm against it.
Yeah, and there's a flip side. They can argue that you're getting 15 million as a center because of what I make. There's also that flip side to it that you can get argued, and I've had that argument with people. I don't agree with it. I'm just saying that's an argument. Here's the thing, Jason. To piggyback off of you taking the beating and all that versus a guy that's fully protected like we've never seen before, they also are not investing in themselves, their roster, their team, or the game. It's a slap in the face to the forefathers, to the game itself, the Kyler Murrays of the world, the guys that don't rehab properly, that don't come back forever, that are sitting there BSing, the Zion Williamsons of the world. We have this direct slap in the face after we get this money. And we get this big bag of money, yet we don't want to invest in fully, invest in this profession and ourselves. And that's what it kills me about the money they're getting.
I agree with you that Zion Williams' refusal to participate in voluntary workouts during the Saints offseason is a reason for NFL players to being sarcastic. How you brought Zion Williamson into this, only you could do that, JB. Great job.
These professionals are getting big money and they're not investing in themselves. That's the point.
I got it. I know what you were doing. Only you
Hey,
but
where's Lamar Jackson? Is he pissed off at the world, or is he mad at the wrong people?
I think he's been given a blueprint. I think he's been given a new standard and a blueprint, and he's putting those type deals rather than the fully guaranteed. He's putting Jalen Hurts' deal in front of the Baltimore Ravens.
But he was already offered more money, right? You know that he is, if a comparable deal, if you compare the two deals, he was offered 200 guaranteed, and Jalen Hurts is 179 guaranteed. That's number one. Number two, if you compare the two deals, Lamar turned down how many months ago, is that if you put them next to each other, it's basically neck and neck, and Lamar actually was having a better deal than Jalen Hurts. And he turned that down for one person, and that's the outlier in this whole thing. That's the anomaly, and that's Deshaun Watson. He thought this was a ego measuring contest, and I had to have the same money that Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson had. And now I think it's going to come back to bite him. And I think Joe Burrow sitting there smiling from ear to ear. Now that Jalen Hurts got this money, he's over there like, hey, Justin Herbert, hey, Josh Allen, do you know what we're going to get next? We're going to be the first $60 million a year guy. And it's just getting worse and worse, Jason. And that's why I think you have to put a cap on quarterbacks and separate them from the normal roster. And I think that's coming down the pipe, or we're going to get this thing to be really, really out of control here.
What do you think's going on with CJ Stroud? He's dropping down draft boards. He's no longer expected to be a top 3 pick. The Ohio State quarterback is starting to slide. What do you think's going on? Will Anderson and Will Levis moving ahead of him. What do you think's behind that?
Well, if it's Sims talking about it, I'm never going to believe it. He's the worst. He's never been right yet. But having said
I think
that,
Vegas is also agreeing.
I know Schefter also
The
came
odds
out.
makers are.
Yeah, Schefter came out and said it. And so Sean Salisbury and I said it 3 weeks ago as well. I wouldn't be shocked if a quarterback don't go again till 4 after Bryce Young gets picked. Sean and I both agree that Bryce Young could be the next Drew Brees because of not only the stature similarities, but the accuracy, the mechanics, the tutelage. Sarkisian, O'Brien, NFL coaches that have had him under Saban's total watch, of course. I think that is benefiting Bryce, just like it has a little bit of Tua, a little bit of Jalen Hurts, who's basically a 3-year Alabama guy. Oklahoma doesn't count to me. He didn't learn a lot there to take him to the NFL. I think it's all from Alabama. But Alabama, you can argue, doesn't have a great track record either. Mac Jones is still in debate.
Would you talk about CJ Stroud, please?
Yeah, and I'm just saying, the point I'm making is, though, everybody wants to talk about Ohio State having bad QBs coming out of their college over the years, and it doesn't mean anything to me. This guy wasn't there. He wasn't there. It doesn't matter. We could say that about USC, too. This is an individual that's got all the accolades, all the tools. He's 6'5", he's 225, he's got a big arm. Why is he dropping, Jason? I believe it's strictly because of what we're talking about, the roster, the cap, and what's available. The Texans need Will Anderson. They need weapons. I believe, Shannon believes, and I believe that we can roll with Miles, with Davis, and have a decent roster built around him. And that is what the Bears selected to do with Justin. That is what a lot of teams are doing now that they're seeing how average a lot of these quarterbacks are across the league. And teams can build a roster, get them better, and win with the quarterback without paying them an absorbent amount of money early, and then go get you a QB in a couple years. I don't believe there's a QB in this draft, Jason, that's going to be around in 5 or 7, 10 years. I think this is a very, very poor QB draft. Sean agrees. I think Bryce Young has a chance. I think the Hafner kid out of Fresno will probably be around longer. Not saying he's going to be a starter in a gym. I'm thinking he's going to be a journeyman in the NFL for 10 plus years because of what he has. He has all the tools that the NFL quarterback requires. He's just not as talented as these guys, but he can be around for a long time. I just think the Anthony Richardsons, Will Levises, they're going to get drafted so high, Jason, on bad teams, and you'll never see them again. And that is what happens more often than not with these guys. And I just don't really I'm not really impressed with this QB draft. I don't know why a lot of these guys have been so high on them. I don't see a lot of longevity in these guys. I think Bryce goes 1, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts not only make a move for somebody, but if they pass on a guy. I just don't know what they're going to do. I don't see Anthony Richardson or Will Levis sitting there at 4 being the guy for the Colts. And if CJ Stroud slips to 4, I would not be mad at that. I could see CJ going to the Colts and being a lot better off than a Will Levis or an Anthony Richardson at that spot. But I'm not shocked if 2 goes to Will Anderson, and if 3 for the Cardinals goes to, obviously, Will Anderson as well. And I wouldn't be shocked if Bijan Robinson's not taken at number 3 by the Cardinals based on what Connor has going on and the Cardinal situation there. So there's going to be some different things that's happened. As you know, every year it changes, Jason. Every draft different. Every draft's there's going to be some trades that move up before we end up getting there next Thursday. But I'm not going to be shocked if a couple of these QBs fall and drop.
Thank you, JB.
All right, brother.
You know what? I may bring up. Hold up! Don't go anywhere. Let me bring up Ray Lewis so you can say something stupid, and then I can disconnect from you. Ray Lewis, go ahead and say something stupid.
Per capita, London Fletcher's better.
I think we've lost connection with JB. There we go. Perfect. Awesome.